Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to our last therapy meetup of the year. Can you believe we're finally at the end of 2020? And as complicated as this year has been, it has been such a magnificent shared experience across the world. Whether you were all the way in the East in Japan or the Far East, or you were here in North America, all of us had a very shared experience this year of the pandemic and all the things that had to do with quarantine. Now, I'm not going to get into that, but I am going to talk a little bit on the theme of a New Year phenomenon where everybody starts setting some goals. But before we jump into setting goals, let me talk to you about 3 things that we should be looking at when we're at the end of a calendar year. So the first is going to be thinking about the growth that you've been through. Growth because every year that you go through, or every time or every phase of your life you go through, has to teach you something. It should mean something. The rough times, the hard times, the good times even. Everything that we experience in life is almost like a stepping stone to prepare us for what's going to come up next. So spend some time thinking about this past year. Spend some time thinking about the growth that you have experienced, what you've gone through, how you've changed, what you've reflected on. And when you're here at the end of this phenomenally unique year, what have you grown into and what have you become? So that when you start the new year off, you're able to really have that reflective intelligence coming from your own personal experience before you set off into setting some goals in the future. The second thing I want to talk to you about today is gratitude. Now, gratitude is something that is an all-encompassing topic on its own. But because we're at the start of a new year, I want to take a moment for us to reflect on what we have today, being very present in the moment and really experiencing all the experiences around us, maybe looking around our homes and our cities and our families and understanding how much we have to be grateful for, despite the fact that this was probably the one calendar year in our lifetimes that was the most stressful, maybe the most complicated, for some the most depressing, for some of people the most challenging. But whatever your narrative was with the pandemic and all the things related to it, there is something out there that you can learn to feel gratitude for. Something small, something maybe you never noticed before, but you're paying attention to now. So let's take a moment and really respectfully take a second to think about all the good things that we have. Think about all the things in our life that are beneficial, things that have anchored us and allowed us to feel good about ourselves, even through the most hardest and the most challenging times, and how our gratitude and our appreciation for everything good in our lives sets us forth and allows us to continue to grow. And the final thing I want to talk to you about today is goals. Goals for the future. Now, isn't this just about the time where everybody starts talking about New Year's resolutions and what they're going to do in the coming year and how they're going to make it so incredible? I know, I've been seeing all those memes around all social media as well, talking about how let's not plan anything for 2021 because you never know. But despite the challenges that we are facing nowadays, you can still have goals. You can still set targets for yourself because in any given moment, you're always in a state of moving forward. And in order to move forward effectively and positively and with good meaning, everybody needs to set goals for themselves. So this year, tonight, when you're thinking about the start of a new year and you're planning a resolution for yourself or making a commitment to yourself, make it positive oriented and ask yourself, what are the things that I can do in the coming month, in the coming couple of months, maybe the coming year? How can I make it more meaningful for me? So the 3 G's. This end of year, we're going to talk about growth from all the learning that you've had this past year and who you've become through all the different challenges that we've been through. We're going to talk about gratitude, where we are in the present and the things that we're grateful for, what we have that allows us to be the best version of ourselves and allows us to really anchor ourselves in our own reality despite whatever's happening around us. And the last thing, goals, because without goals, we're not headed anywhere. So whether it's your past, your present, or your future, always be focused almost in all 3 of these moments of your life when we talk about growth, gratitude, and goals. If you're going to take some time and really distribute your thoughts and your thinking in these 3 areas, always remember the best place to live is in the present. So more than half your time, almost 60% of your time that you're thinking and being should mindfully be in the present. So the most amount of time that you should be spending with is gratitude. And then 20% of the time should be with growth, where you reflect in the past, talk about the lessons that you've learned, what you've changed, and how you've grown. And finally, the last 20% of your time should be with your goals, how you're foreseeing your future and what you want to become when the next year rolls around and you have all these beautiful new opportunities ahead of you. So from here onwards, focusing on growth, gratitude, and goals. From all of us on Therapy Thursdays, Happy New Year to all of you. We make dua that your year is going to be full of health and happiness, and you're going to take all the goodness that you've accumulated in the past year and the learning you've accumulated in the past year, and let this be the foundation of a beautiful future ahead for you. Wishing all of you the very best for the year ahead. Assalamu alaikum.